What's up, brothers? Taylor here again, and today I want to talk about semen retention, and specifically how certain elements of the practice of semen retention can help you if you ever end up in a threesome. So, I had the most magical, amazing, sexy, raw, fucking juicy, vulnerable, oh, holy shit, threesome of my life about a month ago, and wow, man. Like, I've been in about 20 different threesome type scenarios before that, but this one just like blew all of them out of the water. It was absolutely incredible. And I'm going to make a whole separate video about how that happened because I learned some really useful tools and pieces of knowledge that helped make that happen. But this video right now is specifically about semen retention in that context. So I had sex with these two women who were amazing, amazing souls, and we had sex for hours, the three of us. It was amazing. I think I'll probably say amazing like probably 20 more times because damn, it was all of my fantasies from the age of 15 and much, much more than that. So one really important aspect of semen retention when you get into it, when you really start diving into this practice is starting to reevaluate the purpose of sex and reevaluate the direction that you take in the sexual experience. So in my earlier life, I will say, I used to enter into the sexual experience thinking that ejaculation was the goal, or ejaculation is like the peak moment and everything else is a build up to that moment of peak pleasure. And ideally, when you practice semen retention, you start to rewire some of that and reevaluate why you go into the sexual experience. And for me, now, when I go into a sexual experience, it is not about reaching that ejaculation. It's about connection, it's about pleasure, and it's about breath. Really, more than anything else, it's about connection and pleasure. And breath is a whole other side area that I just fucking love. But when that's the case, when you're in a sexual context and you're more focused on pleasure and connection than reaching any sort of orgasm, then you can ride these amazing waves of pleasure with one person or two people or three people or four people or however many people are involved, and you don't have to get to this point of ejaculation, boo, crash, refractory period, and the experience doesn't have to end after that. So for me, in this context with these two women, we had sex for hours, and we both had multiple orgasmic experiences, and I did not ejaculate at the end. And I noticed a couple times in that threesome experience, I found myself getting into my mind and thinking, holy shit, this position would be so hot to come in, or so hot to ejaculate in. And when that would happen, it would trigger my body's ejaculatory reflex. So as soon as I would have that thought, I would, bam, like shoot right up close to that point of no return, and I would have to pause. But when I would take a step back from that and focus more on my breath and focus on the connection and focus on the pleasure between all of us, then ejaculation was not something that was that my body was moving towards. It was moving more towards this pleasure and connection piece. And I cannot overstate how powerful that is in a sexual experience, especially from the female perspective. Think about this. If you're a heterosexual man, almost every woman you have had sex with and that you will have sex with is used to most guys just getting into the sexual experience and pumping, and coming and then being done. A lot of times they'll come too soon. They'll ejaculate too early. And I struggle with that a lot. I have a whole course about that. I'll put a link to that below. That's another topic. But the main point I'm trying to make here is that they're used to guys focusing on the ejaculation and focusing on the orgasm and focusing on this goal and this objective of sex. And if they experience with you that you are able to focus on pleasure and connection and ride those waves of ecstasy and orgasm together, that is going to, not only is it going to blow your mind and heart wide open, but it's going to blow their mind and heart wide open. And you're probably going to be the first person they've ever experienced who has a penis who has done that. It's a really fucking big deal. So in this context of the threesome, it showed up in the way that I didn't focus on ejaculation, and we were able to roll in those waves of pleasure. And I've already said that, and I'll probably say it 100 more times in these next bunch of videos. And the point is, it's important. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to dive into your sexuality, to look at your sexual response system, and to look at how you approach sex. And notice if you're approaching it from that goal-oriented perspective, or if you are approaching it from the pleasure and connection-based perspective. Because when you get into this other pleasure and connection-based perspective, it actually feels so much fucking better. You can have orgasms that feel 20 times better than your typical ejaculatory orgasm, and you don't ejaculate. And you don't enter the refractory period, and you can keep going, and you can have sex for an hour. And then in a threesome, you can switch and have sex with somebody else. And then you can, like, the three of you rotate into a triangle position, or you can rotate into this other position, or you can just lay there and cuddle in each other's arms, and then you can breathe together. It's just, the possibilities open up tremendously when you don't focus on ejaculation. And so you're probably wondering, how did it end? How did the threesome end if I didn't ejaculate? It ended when the natural ebb and flow of orgasmic pleasure subsided. And we decided, the three of us together, we decided to just lay there in each other's arms and breathe. We breathed together, and we listened to the crickets, we listened to the sounds of nature outside my window, and we just stayed there, connected, in presence and in breath. All three of us fully charged, 0 refractory period. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And I'm making this video just to tell you and show you that there's a different paradigm possible than maybe something that you've heard or been told your entire life. There's a different way to approach the sexual experience. It's fucking awesome. If you're interested in that, I would love to have a chat with you. I post about this all the time on my Instagram. You can check that out. I'll link to that beneath this video. I also have a whole course. It's called Orgasmic Mastery. It opens a few times a year. That helps you overcome premature ejaculation and get to those states of higher pleasure. There's info about that below, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is just to say there is something else that's possible. It's amazing. I hope you value your sexuality enough to experiment with it, because holy shit. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, that's it for this video. Talk to you soon. Cheers.